Hey, beautiful people. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eliza. If you've never been around here before, I create my dream wardrobe from scratch and I take you along for the ride. Today, I am doing a bit of a passion project. It's nothing new particularly if you do follow me along here. If you're new, you might have never seen a dress like this before, but we are going to make a smoked shirred dress because that is my default summer uniform. Basically, it's what I love wearing when it's really hot outside. I'm based in London and it's super humid here, and it's just my favorite thing to wear in this time of year. This time around, I figured I want to do it with a special type of fabric, with something where, because the construction is so simple and because the silhouette of the dress is so simple, the fabric makes up for it in a way. So what I found is this beautiful cotton. It's a type of broderie anglaise, but I don't know if you could call this specific fabric that, but it has this like whole embroidery that you would know from embroidery anglaise, and it has this beautiful border all along the selvage on both sides, which I want to utilize as much of this as possible. The main area of the dress is just with these tiny little flowers on it, so it's quite cute, but what I want to really utilize is this beautiful borderline. I have plenty of this fabric, so let me show you the measurements that I use to make this dress happen. So what I'm gonna do first is cut a circle skirt, and I'm gonna do that leaving the border away. So I'm gonna utilize the border as a hem for the circle skirt later. For now, I just need a circle skirt from this main part of the dress. So what I want to do is I want to be able to slip into the dress, stepping into it. So that means I need a circle that is basically my hip circumference, so I can step through it. So I take my hip circumference and I halve that. I am gonna use that to create this half circle that I need. That is going to be big enough for me to step into, and that's the goal. I'm gonna give it a little bit more for good measure. So now I'm gonna cut down the border here. So that I'm gonna utilize. Okay, we have the circle skirt, and now I need to measure the total distance of my hem. And I need to know that so I know how much border I need. 171 by 2, 200, 340. I think I have enough. 340. No problem whatsoever. Here we go. Alright, so skirt is done. So we do need a top that is the exact same width as the circumference of our waist is. 62.5. So 62.5, which is the half of the circumference of my skirt, plus I'm gonna do 30 for the bodice. So that's the main pieces for the dress. And then we'll see what we'll do with the rest of this. All right, so the first thing I'll do is attach the border to my circle skirt. So first I gotta make sure that I choose the right side. So this is the right side of the skirt. This is the right side of my embroidered border. So I'm placing them right sides touching as we do. I'm just gonna use a stitch length of 3.5, and then I'm gonna attach this. All right, so now that the skirt has its pretty border reattached, I have just serged it as well, and it needs a press at some point. I can go ahead and actually attach my bodice to my skirt, and I'm going to do that before I shear it because it just is a little bit easier this way. So again, I need to double, triple check what the right side is, and it seems to be this. I'm going to shorten the bodice just a smidge because I feel like it's a little too tall. A little bit, just a centimeter or two. Now I need to find the midpoint of the bodice so I can align it with the midpoint of the waist. And now the bodice needs to go on the skirt, right sides touching. All right, and now I'll sew the waist seam. All right, Right, so this is the stage of the dress now. It's assembled. We have the bodice attached, we have the circle skirt, and we have the border along the hemline of the circle skirt. And now you can see that when I put it carefully against my body, it sort of looks like this. And now we need to shear down the bodice to complete it. And that takes a while, so let's go. Just a little side note that I have shown in detail how to shirr cotton here on my channel quite a few times already. Just last week I uploaded the Soleil sewing pattern tutorial. If you don't know how to go about shirring, go check that video out. It will explain to you in detail how to do it. So when I started shirring this, it was 2 days ago. I was watching the finale of Interview with the Vampire on BBC, and I clearly didn't pay enough attention. I committed the silliest mistake of the year so far, which was that I, instead of shirring the top of the dress, started shearing the hem of the dress. I mean, my head was really somewhere else. So basically, I started shearing the entirety of the hem, and I was already at this seam right here where I had attached the embroidered border before I realized. And I didn't realize until the next day when I wanted to continue shearing, picked up the dress and was like, oh, hold on a minute, this is lopsided. How? I mean, I don't know. I then spent 1 hour to undo all of the shirring stitches and re-shirr the actual bodice, which is now completed. This is where we're at. I believe in sharing my failures and mistakes with you. And this wasn't really a mistake. This was just silly because I really didn't pay enough attention. And I was too committed to focusing on the finale of Interview with the Vampire. So anyway, we're at this point now. The bodice is shirred and it looks amazing. I'm actually super chuffed with this. It looks so clean and the fabric has taken to the shirring really, really well. I have then closed the center back seam, so the dress is technically done. You could totally wear this. This would be actually really cute. I already tried it on, but we're going the extra mile. And what I want to do is I want to add pockets onto the skirt. So instead of having them in the side seams as I usually do it, I want to utilize the border of the fabric that I have left to create cute little plucked on pockets basically. So I need to cut those, and then I also want to add a sort of strap to the dress. But let's reconvene about that in a second. Okay, so I'm just drawing a pocket onto the fabric right here, and I'm going to utilize the border that I have. So this is 32 tall, and I'm going to make it 18 wide. That already includes the seam allowance, and then just back up, making sure it is actually square. And then I cut 2 of these, and those are my pockets. Really simple. Okay, so here is a sneak peek of the dress, what it looks like on. And I need to do 2 things now, which are, for one, find the placement for the pockets, and then find the placement for the straps. So with a sheared bodice, I think the thing you want to kind of like focus on is wearing it and then having to think of where sort of you want to have the straps placed. It's not going to be an exact science because it's obviously elastic. It's more about how you feel it should be. So I think here would be a good spot for straps. Okay, I think that's quite cute. Does this need cap sleeves or just spaghetti straps? So I just had a bit of a play with different shapes, and this is the mock-up of a spaghetti strap and this is the mock-up of a cap sleeve, and I think I'm cap sleeve. It's just something that I don't do that much, and it gives it this like whimsy, or it enhances the whimsy that it already has, this dress. So why not do that? So let me cut some cap sleeves. Alright, so I'm just cleaning up the placement of the pockets. This is also not an exact science because it can't be because it's a circle skirt. You want to put a square on a circle, so it's more of a visual symmetry type thing rather than an actual symmetry type thing. So I'm just trying to place it in a way that makes it look clean. Yeah, I'd say it is. I'm okay with that. So I'll put a stitch length of 3.5 and top stitch that. the cap sleeve. How do we do that? How do I explain that? So I have tried on dress and I measured from the front neckline to the back neckline, and that is the distance that this cap sleeve needs to stretch. For me, that's 40 centimeters. A cap sleeve is basically this like elliptical shape right here. As you can see it here, this is the mock-up that I tried on myself. And what I want to do is I want to cut this type of like eye shape out of the fabric and then shear down both ends, basically, so it kind of ruffles up. I will have to then, because I want to share it, give it more width than the 40 centimeters. That's the distance between front and back neckline. I'm gonna give it 1/3 more distance. So we'll make it 60 for good measure. 60 for good measure. So the other thing is I'm not going to utilize the border for this time because I feel like we already have a lot of ruffle border going on. I'm just gonna use a simple or the simple part of the fabric. Okay, so we have 2 layers of this now. Ideally, once this is sheared down, this is gonna be the cap sleeve we're looking for. I'm gonna just search the perimeter. Okay. So I'm gonna give each long side of these ellipses 3 rows of shirring stitches now, and that's gonna complete the cap sleeves. All right, these are the cap sleeves completed, literally little caps, and they need to go onto the dress now. So I will just attach them with a few stitches now, and then I'll show you what the dress looks like in 3, 2, 1. So it's a couple of days after I've completed the red shirt dress, and after I've shot the final reveal, and after I've worn it a couple of times, and I am obsessed with it. I love this dress. It turned out so cute. It is so comfortable. I love that fabric. So we can't stop here. I actually went back to the shop and got more of the same fabric in a different color. So I went and got the same fabric in black because I figured I wanted to have this dress or something very similar to it in a more neutral color when I feel like I don't want to draw that much attention to myself, and I felt like black was a good choice. I've got plenty of this, and today I want to make another shirt dress, a bit of a frock, slightly different. We're gonna do different bodice, different sleeves, different skirt, so altogether it's not gonna be the exact same dress because that will be boring. So let me fill you in on what I'm trying to do. All right, so I'm gonna take this dress step by step. I'm gonna design it as I go, which is always an interesting exercise. For starters, I have a 54 centimeter tall and 48 centimeter wide piece of fabric here that has the embroidery on top, and then I have a 78 centimeter wide piece that is about 26 centimeters tall. This is what I'm gonna shear down. This is the back side of my bodice, and this one I'm going to pleat, is my thinking. So basically I'm gonna take it one pleat at a time and I will fold it down like this as I go, and this eventually will be my front bodice. This is the big idea. Got me? These two will then be joined together on the side like so, and hopefully, because the back is sheared, it's going to pull the front around my torso, snatch it in, and make it a really nice fitted garment. That is the plan for the bodice. So let me try and create this, and then we see where we get to, because if this doesn't work, I will have to pivot, as is sometimes the case when you design something on the fly. So let's see. Alright, so there is a first version of the bodice now with the pleats in, and it's cute, but it's not perfect and a little sloppy. I think I could have done a little bit of a better job, and it's also a little short. It literally just covers my bust area right now, and I want it to be a little bit longer than that. So I have just cut another piece because I still have enough fabric that is just longer than the one that I had before, and I'm going to try to do a bit of a better job of sewing in the pleats. So let me quickly do that. Okay, so here's V2. Looks much better than V1. Not perfect, but much better. And now what I want to do is I want to add some darts here, because obviously now this is super straight. So I'm gonna take one of these spaces and add tiny, 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 tiny darts. And that is just so that it gets a little more shapely around the bust. So this is the top, the front of it, completed. And here are the tiny baby darts. I put 2 on each side, and that just makes this a little bit more shapely for the bust area. Okay, so now that this is done, I can focus on the back side, which is gonna take a while because I need to shirr it. Alright, it's a few days later. I lost my sewing mojo a little bit somewhere in the middle, but I'm back. I want to complete this dress. So now I'm going to gather up the front skirt to attach to the front bodice, and then I can sew together the dress on the sides, or at the side seams. What's that doing here anyway? Doesn't belong here. Alright, so now we have the back shirred and attached to the skirt, and we have the front sewn and attached to the skirt like this. And now I'm afraid I will have to shorten the back bodice a smidge because it's taller than the front bodice, and that's because I added these darts. So really what I want to do is totally cut this off. Okay, so that's more the height it should have, plus seam allowance, and now this needs to be opened up again. Now I need to change the thread on my serger and clean up these waist seams before I can place front and back, right sides touching, to sew the side seams, and then we can try the dress and see what it looks like. Alright, this is not actually bad at all, if I may say so. The front looks quite cute with the pleats. It's a little wide, so I'm going to take it in a little bit. As you can see with the shirring in the back, it extends quite a bit. But we're going to have sleeves, so they're going to hold the dress up as well. Anyway, it needs to be a little tighter around the bust, and I think it needs pockets. I need to open up the side seams, at least the top section here, to add some pockets. Is it really that necessary? No, I can do without pockets. doesn't always have to be everything, right? It's okay if it's just basic. If the world was ending, I wanna be next to you. No, 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 no. And I, with a smile. I do feel quite cute in this, I have to say, but we need to add some sashes to tie it up in the back, and then we're done. So this is what both dresses look like.